and as you fall, Enwin is still on his feet. The rest of you fall and break all of the tables inside of the Cheshire Club. To which Bo goes, "Come on!"
Best day ever!
Group, though. He would work with the group because he likes Cass, and that would just be really, really awkward on the battlefield.
What?
I don't think that's an awkward. Perfect person to protect Cass. I
Wait,
like
what?
it. Let's go.
I'm still here.
I don't need protection.
I'm still here. At the...
I know you are, sweetie.
Chris,
It's okay.
shh. The adults are talking. Shh.
Oh,
1
alright.
second, buddy.
I like it. I'm gonna what did
Chris
you think
likes
of
Cass?
I like.
What have you been?
Ibs was a little pretentious.
Abs was
And
my
for
favorite.
me.
I like Bob.
Thanks, Perry.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Are you gonna leave?
Yeah, the crew needs me.
You go, and I'm gonna stay right here.
Oh my god.
And he nods his head. And he nods his head and walks you over to the door. Just sort of opens the door.
Oh man.
There was mouth stuff poison? Oh yeah.
No smell stuff.
That came out wrong. Sorry.
Sorry. I could not laugh.
Person has died, Ryan. A little decorum,
Death
please.
due to mouth stuff. Come on. Get over it.
I'll go home
Smack him
now.
across the face. I'm like, wake up.
All right, you smack Ryan across the face. We're set up in these stands or floating above the water. Have never seen a ship cross the finish line, but first. And they all watch as the first thing they see is Monkey C. Written along the side of the ship, crossing and backwards. And you have crossed the finish line. Congratulations, crew. You have won the first high lock race for the briefest of seconds. Let them be. Let them love and hurt and change and tell stories and die fighting and pouring drinks and doing the right thing even though it hurts. Just let them be. We can give them that. There, now they're on.
Now you're on.
So I found out the microphones with the new setup, whatever it is, they are on for the trailer and they are on for stream starting soon and all that fun stuff. So there it is. Hi everybody.
I had to turn it on for my
Happy Tuesday. It is time for a little Dungeons and Dragons. T.E. Graves, Icky V, all of you beautiful, beautiful people. Thank you for joining us. And thank you, Cast, for coming and hanging out and playing.
I had to reorganize my whole schedule to be here tonight, but you're welcome. I would do it for you.
Thank you.
Wow.
We have a few announcements before we get started with tonight's game. You are more than welcome to come and hang out with us on our Discord. It is a magical place filled with inspiration, and we do try to keep.
Spelled it wrong.
We do try to keep streams PG here, PG-13 here, and that's another facet of the
You're
show.
allowed so many of those on a PG-13.
It's so true. So thank you for hanging out with us. We also have an online store that you can go and purchase stuff at. That's the merch store. That's not the online store.
You went in a different order.
But you can also go to that merch store and find cool stuff like the T-shirt that Indigo is wearing and the mug that we occasionally have here on the stream.
I don't have a mug.
Karma merchandise on it. So Dream Girl 42.
There's so many failures.
Thank you so much for joining us. Yes, thank you. And then, as I said before, there is an online store. You can purchase items that'll help the players in their game or hinder them based on what you would like to do and how you're feeling that night and how nice they are to you. It's going great. We've got some happy, awesome, cool things happening here on the channel. Tonight is Wonder. Nothing going on tomorrow night. Thursday night, we go back to the Lost Isle with some shenanigans. I'm torn between doing some giving them some more free time on the island as they hop back and forth between Monterey Bay and the Isle of Time itself. So tune in. You'll be just as surprised as I am on Thursday to see what they are up to. But it's a nice mix of time travel and Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, maybe. And then on Friday, you can come and join us in Neverland, where we have a boat race of epic proportions, a la Wacky Racers when you were watching Saturday morning cartoons. So actually, all of my players help me out. Send me weird, wacky ideas for ships. The weirder, the better.
It's a hat.
Done. Yeah, send us.
It's a mimic.
It's a mimic. That's great. I love it.
That's Fortunato.
Private message.
It's a ship whose only weakness is familiars who are in rat form.
Everyone but Indigo Chameleon. Go ahead and message me those fun,
Okay, what was
fun
that exactly?
ideas. And everybody in the chat, too. Thank you for helping me out and helping me plan this race by sending me your ideas. It will help me out a lot because sometimes I has the dumb. And that's on Friday night. On Sunday, I don't believe we have anything going on. We had pen and paper last weekend, but Sunday, I've kind of been antsy to do another homebrew and brew, so maybe we'll do a little homebrew and brew with you, just a little chill.
And you?
And you.
And you.
I was just
And
asking
you.
How dare you?
Oh gosh, this is gonna be all like LSMR now.
Yep.
Isn't it?
All LSMR, all the time.
ASMR noob.
Icky, please send me that table. Certifiable scribe, send me those ideas. T.E. Graves and you. I love you so much, T.E. You did so good on Random Encounter Productions last night. We were so happy to watch you. Sorry your dice were poopy. Then on Monday, I need to double check our schedule, but I think on Monday we have an in-game version of D&D 101, but I'll double check. Stay tuned to the Discord for the latest updates. So, yeah. I think that's it. Does anybody else have anything going on any other channels? They want to plug projects, passion projects, anything like that?
Johansson.
All right. That's a good project.
That's a good part.
Once upon a time in Wonderland, our heroes had a bit of a mission ahead of them. This group has been newly formed, and they were put through the paces last episode as they made their way through a dungeon that was based off of the Seven Dwarves. Each of the different rooms being built by Doc, the artificer. His artificer symbol being a 7 and another 7. Formed together into a bit of a rectangle, but the heroes performed admirably. I'd love for you to go back and check it out. You can check it out on YouTube or Twitch and watch this past episode as you see the shenanigans ensue. Making their way through this dungeon, they came upon a princess that had been locked away in a glass coffin. She was on death's door. The group hurriedly rushed this princess, being held in a bit of stasis, all the way to the castle. Upon arrival at the castle, the stately king dismissed most of the guards from the room, and as he did, he dropped the disguise, revealing himself to be Bob, a changeling that many of the heroes in Season 1 had encountered with. Bob is is of average height, around 5'9", 5'10". He's got silver eyes and silver hair when he is in changeling form, but a lot of the time takes on the appearance of a dark-skinned human man with long black hair that's usually tied into a ponytail behind his back. Bob said a tearful goodbye to a woman that called him son, and as he did, he turned to the group, recognizing Thoe and Mandrake, and welcoming them to the castle, where he is now the newly appointed king of Fairley. And that is right where we're going to pick up. So, Bob is there. He's got arms outstretched, and as he... I think he does not miss a beat. I think he walks forward to where you are and gives you a hug, Mandrake, and then goes over to Thoe and gives her one as well, sort of lifts her off the ground a bit. So, how are things?
Things are well. They're a little different.
Yes, of course. So, I should probably explain. This is not my mother. I didn't want you to think that I would have this sort of experience with their. Let's talk about the thing in the room. This is my grandmother. I didn't really know her very well at all, but my father and I look very similar, and my father and I have a love-hate relationship. I hate him, and I love myself more and more for hating him. So that is the situation going on there. So I have a little bit of business to take care of. However, maybe we could have dinner this evening. You are all welcome to stay, of course, and invites abound. Introductions, maybe?
Oh, yes. That's to me. Okay.
Sure.
Well,
Well, I noticed that I'm going to assume these are friends of yours.
yes.
Okay.
Yes. Absolutely. Fix,
didn't-
you've not met Fix. Have you met Fix? I thought you'd met
I have
Fix.
not met
You have not
Fix.
met Fix. This is Fix.
Fix, it is a pleasure.
And it's all yours too.
He will laugh. It's a very genuine smile, and he actually kneels down a bit to take your hand, so that he's at eye level with you and
And
shakes your
Fix is
hand.
just gonna get up on his tippy toes and be like, "It's good to see you too." And he's gonna give like one of these like, "Hi."
Sure. And who's your little friend? Who's that?
Ha. Okay. That's Olo. There's my little friend. He's over there.
Oh dear.
Bob will turn his head. I see we have Olo, lovely, and that is great. Yes, and you're all of very different sort of
Ages.
You didn't know which size I'd like, so you got me a small, a medium, and a large. That's lovely.
You're welcome.
He's just gonna go pat Olo on the back and just sit the back.
He will kneel down as well. Olo?
Alo.
Olo. Pleasure. And you are...
Hi, I'm Zero.
Hi. You are energetic. I'm about it. Yes. Hello, Zero. And last but certainly not least, you big boy.
Hello, I am Trovic Gorgehorn, and this is my friend Humphrey.
Yes. Hello, Humphrey and Trovic. You are in good company. The resources of the castle are at your disposal. Please be my guest this evening. I have so many things to share with you all, and I would love to learn a little bit more about all of you. Will you be my guest?
Sure.
Yes.
Delighted.
Zero.
Yeah.
All right. And Fix?
Can Dash come?
Who is Dash?
He's behind you.
Oh, it's a rat.
No, he's not. He's not a rat.
Squirrel.
He's a squirrel. He's a squirrel. He's a squirrel with an updo. Hello, Monsieur. And he picks him up and he says, "Yes, Dash is welcome to stay with us as well. Of course."
A lot more lively than he used to be.
Yes, the liveliest of squirrels. This squirrel is.
She's just being crass because he used to be dead.
Ugh, if I had a nickel.
Would you have a nickel then?
Or a bronze piece, as you would know.
Do you need some?
No, I'm fine. I'm going to take care of some things. Excuse me, Xavier. And as he will call out a wispy form will enter into the space. You can see it's transparent about from the waist down, but up at the top you see the blue, like sort of faded outline of a person comes into the space, actually manifesting through the wall itself. Xavier floats into the space, and you see Bob nod at him and say, "These are guests of Fairly, and fast friends and old friends alike. So please escort them to the chambers that we have. Second floor, please, not the first floor. Those are a bit of a joke. Anytime I have dignitaries come in, I always introduce them to weird local customs that don't exist. It's one of the perks of royalty. It's amazing. You'd be surprised what people sleep on. No, take them to the nice rooms on the second floor, please. And Xavier will nod, and as Xavier nods, he will shrink in size as he splits to form 6 individual servants, all of the same sort of make and model, but but will lead you all to a set of stairs leading past where the throne is. Behind it, you'll see a bit of a dais, and then behind it, you'll see stairs leading up to the second floor.
How much does it make you want to go see the rooms on the first floor?
Oh, we'll be checking those out later.
Okay.
You are led past a first floor, which has some very odd smells indeed that seem to come from it. However, there is a small door that says out of order that you watch as your servant instead sweeps past this door and is able to take you all to the second floor. The rooms that you are each led to are stunning. You each have your own room, should you so choose. There are very large beds. I want to say probably like king-size beds that are at your disposal. Everything in the space looks not gaudy, but close. Gold inlays of that sort. Maybe ostentatious is the word I'm looking for. There is a water closet attached to each room, which is a bit of a unique feature, even for inns and places like that sort. And you also see a wardrobe with several outfits in it, ranging in sizes, different robes, plush robes, and just regular traveling clothes, should you so choose. The Xavier will nod at all of you, and as he nods, one will stay in place, and the one down the hall will meet up with one, meet up with one, meet up with one, until Xavier is fully formed again, and nod, and you hear telepathically in all of your heads, dinner will be served in 1 hour. Please make yourselves at home in the castle. Should you be approached by anyone, let them know that you are a guest of the king. If you could put the sigil on that is on each of your beds, it will be an outward sign as to your allegiance to Fairley. And Xavier will nod and make his way out.
There is no doubt Fix is gonna go first thing for that bed and just be like, "This is amazing."
Fix, the size you are, this is the largest. This is huge. Like, this bed is like, you've been in rooms smaller than this bed. But yeah, Fix, absolutely. You're in this room. I'll say, Fix, you're at the... Let's actually put the rooms in the order that the people are in. So this is the one closest to the stairs. We just make our way down, with Zero being all the way at the very end of the hallway.
I trust Bob, but the first thing I'm going to choose is cast Detect Magic on the sigil. I want to see what kind of magic is on it.
Sure. You cast Detect Magic after a bit of time. Your regular, normal magic items alight. There is no magic inherent in the sigil. You notice a small basin of water that is in the room that glows with a bit of a magical touch. And you just looking in your room?
I'm going to look in my room, but I want to head over to his too because I wanted to ask him about something.
Okay.
To Allos, but so that's the next
That
place
is the
I would be going. But
only thing in
basin of water with magic on it.
Yeah. Inside the water is a warm water. You'll look at this basin of water, which looks to be made of porcelain, and you'll see that it's got a symbol on it that looks like a snowflake and one that looks like steam. And as you touch the snowflake, you see the temperature of the water inside the basin change. And you touch the steam.
Minor evocation.
Neat.
Yeah.
It's a minor evocation enchantment. Delightful.
So the
Trophic just went, yeah, check it out.
sigil is coming across as simply a symbol, but not a magical thing. Just a hey, I'm. Got
Absolutely.
It. Okay.
It's in the shape of a shield that has just a sort of flowy script F in the shield. It's fairly nice.
Okay.
Like it's decent.
Fairly unique for as Kreska.
No inherent magic in this symbol.
Mandrake would just say out loud, "I'll be in the lab," and he'll go in his room and then down into the case to check on the potions that he'd started.
Okay.
His troop has a lab?
I'm sorry, Icky V was the first person to notice that epic bendy straw. Would you like to point out what it says?
It says because.
You open your case. Zero, do you say this? Do you, as he goes, I'm going to go into the lab? Do you say you have a lab?
If I can hear him say it, I don't know if
I
I'm
said it
supposed
out
to.
loud.
Yeah,
just-
I'll be like, yeah. I'll set that out loud, yeah.
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 You have a lab?
I have a lab anywhere I go. 0.
Oh,
I'd love
that's
to
cool.
forge like that. Crafting on the go. That would be. And now I have ideas.
Okay. You take the lab into your room and you just in the most antisocial move as everybody's talking about their rooms, you go good night and you open the case and climb into the lab. What are you working on while you're there? You gonna work there for the next hour?
I would first just check on the potions because I know that I have to check on them now because Bartholomew is no longer in there.
Correct. You have a greater healing potion
That's
brewing.
going. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that is the only potion
Right.
so far.
That potion,
Yes.
singular. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then I would pour a cup of tea, spill it, and then sit cross-legged in front of it and pray.
Yeah, okay. Give me percentile dice. Then, as you climb into this area and then you spill the tea, who are you trying to reach toward?
I'm trying to reach Cheshire.
Okay. Give me percentile dice.
We discussed how.
Yes.
No, that's a 99.
A 99. You do, as you're sitting here, you know normally that you don't always get a talk back, but you feel a warm presence in the room. You don't know if it's him, but you definitely feel like a connection to something.
Okay. Are you there?
You feel a slight tail flick at the back of your neck.
Months now. I've been trying to speak to you. And nothing. What's changed?
The tea on the counter begins to fall off the table, as if a slight wind has blown it off the table. As the tea falls onto the floor, it coalesces into the shape of a cat. The water, the tea all sort of forms together. The dregs of the tea making shapes in this water, and it is the visage of a cat licking its wounds, cleaning itself.
I guess we could all do with a bit of recovery.
You see a picture, you see the cat once again now taking on the visage of more humanoid features and going,
I've never been fond of Pictionary. I thought we could speak like we used to. But at least I've gotten an answer this time. Do you have any information on where Nyx might be?
The tea dregs begin to swirl, and it makes an arrow.
An arrow pointing in, like just pointing in a direction?
The water flips on its side and points out of the apothecary lab.
So I will get up and start walking in that direction.
You finally hear Cheshire's voice as you make your way out of the apothecary lab, and you hear just a faint whisper on the wind. You're not going to find him in there. It's too small. And the lid closes.
And here I thought I missed our chance. I will... I'll open my door.
Okay.
And...
I like
play
it.
with.
I think
Yeah,
just
I'll
the simple fact is like, hey, if anybody's
yeah, I'll just
kicking
open my
around.
door.
What's everybody else doing? I know that you mentioned that you were going to go and visit Alo for a little bit. Are you just playing with the tap?
No, I enjoyed that little bit of evocation. Oh, this is neat. I was going to start heading down the stairs, but if I see Mandrake's door open, I will like knock on the door frame.
Yeah. Yeah, you see Trophic, not too far away.
Yes.
Yes. I apologize. I never properly thanked you for giving me the opportunity to perform sketches and whatnot. It's very rude of me.
We were a bit rushed.
All the same, proper courtesies and the like.
Of course. I see your gears turning.
Well, I'm trying to think of... I was trying to come up with some way to properly thank you, a gift of some sort.
It's not necessary. I mean, it appears we will be traveling together for a while.
All the same.
What did you have in mind?
Well, I have a couple of things that I could create. It wouldn't take me terribly long.
I like the imagery of this of Trovik going like, "Well, I've just got a few things," and like you pushing your way in with a notebook as you start.
Yeah, it's like flipping through a couple designs. A pair of gloves that have some runes stitched around the outside. They wouldn't be visible, of course, but they might be able to help with any kind of dexterous actions. These a pair of boots that might be able to bring you back towards safety if you should find the need. Let me see. No, that one's for Thoe. Ignore that. That way around. Yes. I might try that later.
He spends a little bit of time going through designs with you, and you incite that Trovik. This is the first time the two of you have really had a chance to talk since he was like, "I need to draw you."
Right.
That he knows what he's talking about. He's got a deep, not only an inquisitive mind towards the arcane, but a creative mind in regards to the arcane. Like some of the designs that he's showing you as he flips through this notebook are magical items that exist in some fashion, but have been tweaked in a certain way or improved upon. I think the two of you bonding over that notebook for a bit of time is not a terrible thing. As Thoe, yeah, you make your way over to Alo's door.
I knock.
Come in.
Hello.
Bonjour. Can I help you?
Yeah. Well, I wanted to ask you a question, but I kind of wanted to ask it away from other people because of history. Okay, so see, you never met him, but when we first started adventuring, there was someone else here, and he wasn't quite who he said he was, and he would speak in he couldn't speak all the proper languages, but he found a way around it, and it was just a little bit confusing. And then we had a talk, and things got a lot clearer after that. And I was just scientifically curious, I guess you could say. I know this is confusing.
Trovik is actually the scientist. So
what?
Trovik is the scientist.
Oh no, you're not a scientist. I mean, you might be a scientist. I don't know.
No, I am not.
Okay. Well, okay, so I was curious because you said, this is going to sound very silly and very unimportant, but you said that you were, you lived with your parents since you were very, very little.
Sort of, yes.
I was just confused because they don't have the same accent as you do. And usually accents are established between the ages of 0 and 12. And I don't know how your people go and exactly how old they are, but usually accents are established very early on. And I found it curious that you don't have the same accent as them. Scientifically curious,
Of course. I am adopted. So they are not my birth parents. I actually grew up for a time with 12 parents, and then
you went to them. That still doesn't explain it. But that's okay. See, I thought that maybe you were putting it on, like it was pretend. Or that maybe you'd had some sort of grand adventure at some point and decided to take it on as a mysterious aspect of your personality. And then I built it into this really big, exciting thing, and I just figured I'd ask.
How is Alo feeling right now? Is he a little overwhelmed?
Confused, mostly?
Mostly confused. Like she's going, and like, is Thoe genuinely curious?
Yes.
Or okay, yeah.
Because he said he lived there from when he was very little, and then when And I also wanted to ask about the necklace.
Which
against scientific curiosity. Well, I guess not scientific curiosity. This is more like religious curiosity. I don't know. I don't know very much about the White Queen, and I noticed that you got the White Queen's necklace the other day. Can you
did.
tell me about the White Queen?
What would you like to know? She is the goddess of the broken and the cast.
The broken and the what?
Cast?
Cursed.
Oui.
You have a necklace of the broken and the cursed?
The goddess of, yes.
Should I apologize or ask if you have a tragic backstory? Or just ignore it altogether so that we don't have an awkward silence?
Should I ask if you have a tragic backstory?
I do not think it's tragic.
Okay.
But
It just sounds so depressing.
to have a family that loves me?
No! The
Two,
necklace
in
of
fact.
the goddess of the cursed and the downtrodden. What was it again?
The cast and the
Cur-
broken.
Cursed and the broken.
Oui.
It sounds very sad.
Could be, but sometimes broken things are put back together and they are better. It is nice to me to think. Just because it is broken doesn't mean it is useless or worthless. It is simply broken right now.
Sometime maybe you'll tell me the story about how you found her. I mean, not literally. Well, I mean, maybe literally. We've had a lot of interactions with gods and goddesses. Well, gods, really. I don't know. But yeah.
I have not had direct
been a long
contact.
story.
No.
Yes.
But okay, sure. I can do this.
Okay.
I think there's just an awkward silence in the room after this as she was like, maybe you could tell me about the time you met him, or if you didn't meet him, or I've met people, you've met people, we've all met people. Like, it's just, ooh. Icky B says, I am confusion. This conversation goes on for a bit of time. What would the two of you like to be doing in this? There's an open door where this conversation between Trovik and Mandrake is happening. I think there's a closed door. Thoe, you mentioned that you kind of walked in and closed the door behind you. So Thoe and Alo went into the room and are sort of having a private conversation. But whatever you would like to do during this time is yours.
There is so much yelling and screaming and crashing and things banging up against walls from Fix and Dash running about this room. And all you hear him screaming, "How big is this space? Massive!"
Yeah, you guys are all. I think Trovik's not in his room, but I think you all can hear the odd sounds and screams that come forth of like, there's so much room for activities. Like it's just like.
I'm going to have to fix everything in that room.
Yeah, a giant sigh issues forth from Trovik. Zero, what about you? What are you doing during this 1 hour downtime?
He's gonna take off his armor.
Okay.
Because he's not gonna be walking around the castle in chainmail. Take that thing on his bed and put it on his backpack.
Can I ask a personal question?
Go for it.
Something we've never talked about with Zero. What does Zero look like underneath his armor? Is he scarred in any way? The armor is ramshackle and stuff like that, and I know that Zero's been in the thick of it and trained to be a guard in Wonderland, and we always talked about him kind of going through the ringer a little bit from the other people. What's he look like under the armor?
I don't think he has any visible scars.
Okay.
He kind of was the one that was picked on by the group. He didn't really see a lot of action in the guard.
Yes.
And then once he kind of left to do his own thing, he was kind of just whatever came about, he'd try and help. But he hasn't been in any like major battle situations.
Roll a d20. Let me know if you get a 16 or above.
But for like just regular appearance.
You take your backpack and you put the symbol on the backpack.
Yeah, and leave the backpack next to the armor.
Sure.
And then, as much as he hates it, he'd probably want to find out more about Enwin and maybe try and find a library, but he has no idea where that's going to be, so he's just going to explore the castle.
I'm about this, and I'm about the fact that to do this, you will need to walk past the door where these two are. You'll walk past his door is closed, but he's jumping on beds and stuff like that. And you are just looking around for a library. Give me.
I'm just gonna.
As Zero's passing, you mentioned a laboratory somewhere. It's portable.
Yes.
Oh, that's fantastic. I'd like to do something like that for a forge.
Oh, what did you get? 2. Got it. Okay. Yeah. Give me an investigation check.
As he's walking past, right?
Zero's de-armored, and he's actually. I think I think this is the first time all of you have seen Zero in regular.
Other than him.
Other
Because we were
than
in the
Fix
honeymoon
and the
suite
honeymoon suite. You don't wear armor in the honeymoon suite.
What happens in the honeymoon suite stays in the honeymoon suite.
Yeah, you two see Zero looking around, looking at the doors and looking at the spaces.
Okay. Zero.
Yeah?
Where are you headed?
The library?
Do you know where the library is?
No, I just got here.
Right. Let's not wear out our welcome with our friend right after we arrived.
Zero
I
does-
don't know you to be stealthy.
Zero does make a good point.
It's easier
I
without the
probably should
armor.
Wear this.
But I was just gonna look around. I mean, I don't think you'd have a problem with it.
If you'll excuse me. It was wonderful to speak with you.
I do have something I'd like to ask you for.
Oh, yes, by all means.
Before I was like this, my eyes were augmented.
Might I have that light I gave you?
I would take the light and hand it to him.
Yeah, you handle the small pebble that you used in the cave. And
Tell me exactly what you want it to look like. As much detail as possible.
It was a pair of goggles, much like the ones you wear. Or just lenses would work.
You'd prefer being able to see more in the dark?
Yes.
I believe I could accommodate.
Thank you.
Of course.
The plans that I offered Lawrence weren't as detailed as I might have thought.
I see. Well, not to worry. I should have something within the next few days, provided I have access to proper materials, the workshop, and the like.
You have access to my lab.
You, I imagine, would have more alchemy reagents, although that is
I
really
need,
a possibility.
Okay, so this is no small feat. When he says, you have access to my lab, and just sort of throws it off the cuff, there is a faint pop of arcane energy. I think you feel it because of your basis, as the lab itself like shakes a little bit with a like when he says you have access and just sort of absent-mindedly waves his hand. You know what I mean?
I'm wandering off since this conversation.
Yeah, I had a feeling.
Yeah, as he was like, "Hey, Zero, yeah, okay, bye." Like, Zero, give me an investigation check. You're
I'm real good at that.
You are wandering the castle proper. You are.
That's 6 on the dice, so a 5.
What room do I want to have you stumble into, buddy?
First floor guest rooms. First floor guest rooms.
I think you stumble into the first. You see that first floor, and you see rooms and things of that sort, and you walk past those rooms and make your way back out to the castle proper. In the throne room, there was a large entryway that you were sort of ushered into in a bit of a rush. You walk out of the throne room and into this main area. Zero, I'm going to give you 2 choices right now. Big grandiose staircase that you could make to use an entrance leading up to this, almost to like the 2nd or 3rd floor. However, below the staircase are 2 doors. One of them always lies, one of them always... No. There are 2 doors. There's one on the left and one on the right, one on either side of the staircase. Each of them looks somewhat inconspicuous. I'm going to let you choose the left or the right with that 6. As oh, hey, doors.
Which side are the rooms on that people stay in on the first floor? Is that more to the left or the right?
I would say it's more to the left.
Probably farther away from them then.
Okay. You go to this door on the right on the opposite side of the staircase. You do find a study. There's not a lot of books in here. There's 1 book in here. And it's on a small pedestal in the middle of this space. In the middle of the room, it's just 1 large book in the middle of the space. The shelves are filled with, instead, odd bric-a-brac, and it looks like taxidermied wild animals. You notice that there's a leather chair. The room smells of rich mahogany and fine whiskeys and scotch and things like that. But inside the book is opened, but you don't know what it's open to.
All right. I'll close the book so I can see the title.
Okay. How? Yeah, I don't think Bob's ever expecting anybody to look at this. It's the Book of Names.
Is it an ABC order?
The pages are blank.
All of them?
All of them. You open the book back once again, and it sort of automatically flips to the center of the book.
There's no names in this book.
That covers a liar.
I'm gonna just flip through all the pages back and forth.
Okay, you seeing anything while you flip through the pages?
No, I'm just looking.
Okay. As you flip through the pages, nothing happens. You just start flipping through. You get to the very end of the book. You don't see anything. You don't see any pictures or anything along those lines.
Huh. Well, that's not helpful at all.
Okay, that's not helpful at all. As you flip through the pages, you see not helpful at all, and you see the picture of a gentleman, like a farmer type person, that's kind of like leaning to the side. You don't see any words with it, but he's just kind of going like this a little bit, and then you flip it again, and you see like a drunk guy, and he's like, it's almost like moving pictures of him kind of moving around a little bit, and then you see. The pictures of you see a picture of this grizzled warrior who's got gray hair, and he's got a sword at his side that looks like a Vorpal sword, and he is standing here. And as you say, that's not helpful at all. You're seeing random pictures of people.
So the one with not helpful, does it say that not helpful?
It says not helpful at all.
Huh.
Whoa, rude.
This is Bob.
0.
I was like, yeah.
Okay. You see a picture of yourself as you entered into the castle, wearing your armor, sort of standing there, and then you just kind of go like.
Enwin.
You see a picture of a green skinned individual. He's standing there bare chested. He has a spider on his shoulder. He's wearing pants. He's barefoot. The green skin seems to be made up of fibrous material.
And if I flip through the book, are there more pictures of Enwin, or is it just the one?
There's one other picture of Enwin. That's the first picture that pops up. The next picture of Enwin is almost the same. He's much taller. He's much more muscular around the chest. On his shoulder is an owl, and next to him is a little girl. He's got hair, long hair, that seems to be growing out of his head.
Do I recognize the girl?
That's Alice.
So I recognize her?
Yeah.
Nyx.
Okay. You bring up a picture of Nyx. Let's pause there and go back to the group. Okay. What are the two of you, after this awkward conversation, you just stay in the room just kind of sitting so, do you like baseball?
Well, I'm super good at social cues, so the minute it gets awkward and then 10 minutes past that point, I'd probably excuse myself.
10 minutes past that point, roll another d20, please. Let me know if you get a 16 or above.
That is a natural 20.
Okay. Near the end of that 10 minutes, you're about to leave the door, and Otto's bag starts shaking.
Your bag.
Otto, it's time. I just wanted to check in. You think, son? Are you dead?
No.
Are you dead? You're dead. He's dead. He's not answering the call.
I was just going to open the bag. I am fine.
Hi.
Hello.
It's Dad.
I know.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Are you eating food?
Of course.
Okay, and you're drinking lots of water.
I am.
I've read that it is not beholders that kill adventurers. It is dehydration.
Okay.
That's not completely true. It's also beholders.
You're not making it better.
Oh, okay.
There's a girl in the room. There's a what? There's a girl in the room.
Zoe, would you like to meet my father?
Is he in the bag? Or just talking through
This
the bag?
I'm holding the stone.
Oh, this. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Who are you? Are you one of Enwin's friends?
Who's?
Yes.
Sorry, are you one of Alo's friends?
I'm so confused right now. Yeah. Yes.
Oh, that's lovely. Oh, that's lovely. I'm Alo's father. It's a pleasure to meet you. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
My name is Zoe Sar.
That's wonderful. What's your alignment?
That's an awfully personal question to ask.
Yes, but I just want to make sure my son's not traveling around with anybody evil. Like,
I'm not evil, I promise.
Okay.
I mean,
but that is what
I'm not evil.
somebody evil would say. So.
Right, but I'm not.
Okay. All right. That's lovely.
Yes.
That's great. And
he's putting his head down right now.
he does that. He
Yeah.
does that. he does that so much.
It has been so lovely talking to you. Goodbye.
I was actually
Wait. Can I make a request? I'll make a request. I'll make this a short call.
What?
Can your new friend, can she give you a hug? No, I just it would be like I'm giving you a hug.
Goodbye.
She'd be a hug surrogate.
Goodbye.
I love you. Drink water.
I love you too.
I love your talks.
With that, with enough time with you sketching and jumping around the space and things of that sort, I think as you look for Nyx, you see a well kept together, a somewhat morose but well kept together human man with blue hair. On the first page, he's looking about the space and he sort of smiles and nods. He's holding a staff, in his hand, and he's just sort of standing there and sort of looking about the space.
Flip to the next one.
Okay, you see the White Knight.
I said Nyx.
He's resplendent and armor aglow, and as you're looking at this picture of the White Knight, there is a closing of the door into the study as you see Bob step into the space.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome to my study.
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome. Can I ask what you're doing?
I was trying to find your library, but it only has one book in it.
Yeah. I've never been much of a book guy.
So, but I found this one, but it doesn't seem to work right.
It works for the purposes that I need.
I said someone's name, but it showed someone else.
It did. Who did you say?
Well, I was looking. We're looking for Nyx, so I said Nyx.
The group can't find Nyx.
Yeah, but then this happened, and I'll show him the book.
Okay. And he sees the picture of the White Knight, and he nods his head. Yeah, you know what? This book has been on the fritz as of late. I'm not sure what's going on with this thing. I've said many a name in here, and I'm getting some odd results all over the place. Could just be the book. Zero?
Yeah.
Where'd the name come from, Zero?
It's a nickname.
Who gave it to you?
5s and 8?
The guards.
Yeah.
God, I should not like you. But I really do, Zero. You seem very genuine, and I'm the opposite. So I'm drawn to you. Why don't you gather your friends, if you can find your way back, and let them know that dinner is about to be served. And you can all head downstairs, and I will escort you all to the dining room.
Okay. Upstairs.
He will nod at you, and as he does, he will close the book behind you as you walk out of the study. You're all in your respective rooms. I think you're doing some sketches. I think
I'm changing.
You're changing.
I'm changing out of my armor into nicer clothes.
Armor is put away. Anybody else that wears armor that is going to change out of it? No, you're still wearing full. Okay.
I just want to know.
Would
I'm
you
not
at
putting
least
on any
clean
of the
up
nice
and
clothes in the room.
present-
I'm just putting on my clothes.
I assumed that it was commoner's clothes. Yeah, but Zero comes upstairs and summons you all down for dinner.
I have a question.
Okay.
First off, how big is this bed? Would you say?
I don't know bed sizes. I'd say this is a big one.
Does anybody else? Could anybody else tell me how big this size this bed is?
Bigger than you?
Okay, it's funny from the short guy. But can anyone tell me how big this
7
bed
feet
is?
by 6 feet.
Is it like? That's so helpful. Is it like a where there's two twins in a bed, and then there's might be like the next big twins in the bed, and then is there like another size bigger than like multiple twins in the bed?
I think there's only 2 twins. I think more than that's a triplet.
So there's triplets in the bed? Because there's a single person bed, there's a twins in the bed.
Well, once you get more than 2, they start knocking each other off.
I'm leaving this conversation.
Everybody's gathered in the hallway, but before Fix leaves, he's trying to get somebody to tell him what the dimensions of the bed are.
I have so many questions right now.
Fix, let me put it this way. That bed is fit for a king.
It's a king bed! And he's gonna run back inside, and he's gonna like get the pillowcase and chop it up and like wear like a gown, like
Oh.
super entitled.
I think the minute you go, it's a king bed, Dash is going to jump off and run over to where the bed is and flop on the bed.
Oh yeah, it's a thing.
As you come over to grab a pillow, you'll hear a...
I said it's a king's bed. You got this. You got it last time. You got it last time.
Poking my hand in the room. How much of this stuff is broken?
The room is trashed. It looked like a rock star stayed in the room or something like that. Like the only thing that's still standing is the little porcelain bowl, but the porcelain bowl is currently stacked on like 3 chairs in the room are now stacked on top of each other, and the bowl is precariously like tottering on one of the like legs of the chair.
Because it's the tree of all things that give life.
Trevor just puts his head just under his horns and just goes,
Oh, you got the bad room. I'm sorry about that.
I just want to wear the pillowcase.
Why?
That's between you and the squirrel.
Because it's for a king, and I get the king bed.
Check the closet.
Why would there be clothes in there?
Wait, there's a closet? I'm gonna go to my room.
That's where you go to the bathroom.
Sure enough, there is a closet in your room there with lots of clothes, like finery and things of that sort. You also, I don't know if you would notice this. Give me a perception or investigation.
Perception.
Okay.
Investigation would be
That's
funnier.
a 2 on the dice, so it would be funnier because it'd be a 1 then. 7.
You don't notice Jack. It's a cool closet.
That's neat.
Cool.
I'll put on some nice clothes then.
Yeah.
Since I found them.
Zero's looking fly. Trovik's looking a little fly as he takes his armor off, and is he just wearing his regular clothes, or is he changing into the robes?
It's the nicer set that I have when like I have to go to the guild.
Sure.
So like a loose waistcoat, a nice tunic.
What's Thoe wearing?
Oh, she's wearing what she typically
Just
does,
regular-
but she doesn't have armor anyway.
Yeah,
so.
I didn't know if she would change, if she
No.
would enjoy comfortable clothing. Okay, you all are summoned to dinner and head downstairs to the first floor.
On the walk down, I would ask Zero, did you find the library?
Yeah, but it only had 1 book in it.
Please tell me you behaved.
Yeah, Bob seemed real nice about it.
Oh, good. Bob found you.
Yeah, he told me to come get you guys.
Fantastic.
Oh, did you at least polish your armor? And as I'm prestidigitating and like taking a chamois to the back plate.
Just like.
Did you ever consider that maybe you didn't find the library, you just found a room with a book in it?
What's the difference?
You know, you could probably change out of that armor.
I could, but I'm going to opt not to, I think. It's very comfortable, I assure you.
He's very stubborn.
He's very.
I'm not stubborn, I'm comfortable.
As we remember, Bob does like a man in armor. And he'll just head downstairs.
And away we go.
Bob will greet you all in the throne room. He is sitting upon the throne and stands up. He's wearing a fashionable silver robe that seems to glimmer and glisten. It is very, very sparkly. But he is standing in the space in his human form with the dark skin and the long black hair tied into a bit of a ponytail. He stands up and claps his hands and says, "Well, would we like to eat inside or would we like to eat outdoors? The weather's quite beautiful tonight."
We're gonna have to eat outdoors. We're not gonna eat food.
No, well, wow. Okay.
Yes.
No, we're still going to eat food, but we would just be eating outside.
Well, then why don't you just say we're gonna eat outside?
Would you like to eat outside or inside?
I like to fit and sit where it is most comfortable for all of us as your gifts. And he's gonna be like, hands on the hip, like trying to mimic like his mannerisms, like.
God, I shouldn't like you either, but I do.
And
You're growing on me like a fungus. Yes, we're going outside. Let's go.
That's the first nice thing anyone strange has ever said to me.
We need to get you around more strange people. And Bob will lead you all outdoors. It's a small table. The royal banquet hall that was prepared, I think, is Bob, and you all walk past this space. You see a gentleman standing at the ready, and Bob goes, "We're going to be eating outside." And the man just sort of, "Outside?" As people begin taking the food that has been lined up on the table outside. It's a small garden that has flowers all around it. Bob gives a small whistle. The flowers all begin to open and bloom, and the small dining area is lit by fireflies.
I used to know that trick.
Mixture of transmutation and conjuration magics. Interesting.
Or druidcraft.
Oh, bugs.
Or druidcraft, fine.
So, Bob.
Yes.
All this time that we've known you, and you never bothered to mention your royalty?
All right. Question and answer time. I'm fine with answering questions. I'm sure that many of you have some. However, I expect an answer in return. So, question for a question. Shall we?
Yeah.
Let's extend the rules to everyone else at the table as well. You may ask anyone a question, but you must in return answer a question. Might make dinner a little more interesting.
How do we know if the answer is going to be truthful?
Well, we're all friends here. Why wouldn't they be? Why lie when the truth
is so much more fun?
Tall, dark, and handsome. I love it. I'll answer the
dark, but all right.
I'll answer the first one. How did I become king of fairy? Anyone here familiar with Dimitri?
Oh yeah.
Dimitri had a very unique deck of cards at his disposal. One of which, in this deck of cards, gave you 3 wishes. Or a number of wishes. I happened, by sheer fate, to draw that card. And my first wish was to become kingdom of a small kingdom that wouldn't draw too much attention.
So something fairly innocuous.
Fairly innocuous might have been the exact words I used. It sucks to be fairly because I think they were a democracy before I showed up, but here we are. We're not going to ask any questions. That was my first wish. I was going to use my second wish to become the world's greatest lover. But I was already that, so I'm holding on to wishes 2 and 3 to see what happens. So, question for one of you. Zero, let's start with you. What is it you were looking for in the library?
I was looking for a book about Enwin, because I don't know who he is, but everyone else seems to know who he is.
It's weird how some people here know a little bit more about Enwin than others, right?
Yeah, but mostly on me side.
Are you enjoying the chicken? It's very good. It's roasted peppers.
It's chicken.
Yeah.
Also, I believe that was 3 questions. You owe us a few.
I'm happy to return in kind. Please.
Anyone? Here.
Oliver's just like pigging out.
Does it have to be a question for? We have to ask you a question.
No.
You can ask anyone a question.
Oh no. I don't understand what you say, mate.
Olo's got a mouthful of food. I think he's mid drumstick as you're like, I don't understand a single word you say, mate.
I don't think that's a question.
Okay, I'm sorry. Oh no, I don't understand. I think you're saying you say, mate.
I'm just gonna go back to eating. Just like that's not a question. And there's a lot of food here.
Do you mind if I take this one?
But did I say it wrong?
No. You
Is
said
there a royal way of saying
try
it?
this. Yes, the royal way to say it is, where are you from?
Oh, Ro, where are you from?
I'm from Overland.
Well, this just got a little more interesting.
We
It's
knew
not my
someone.
question,
We knew someone from Overland. What part of Overland?
It is just sort of.
It's fairly small, right?
It is.
Yes.
No, this is fairly small.
This is
Overland's
fairly
quite
intimate.
large. Yes, exactly.
In fact, we spent a bit of time in Overland. Not all of us, but some of us. Your
I mean, I
accent
did, but
is
I wasn't
not
with
an
you guys.
Overland accent.
Again, I was adopted.
Okay.
The accent's actually fairly regional toward Fosh.
With this sort of like moment that's happening where people are discovering a little bit about each other, Bob will snap his fingers in his element, and people will come out of the woodworks with glasses of wine for anyone who would like to partake. This is actually not wine. This is something I discovered on my travels. This is something exotic, rare, called sangria. Sangria is wine with fresh fruit sort of mixed up around it.
Can you also fill this with your sangria? He's gonna hand over his flask, just two of them, just two little pocket flasks.
No, darling, I'm not going to fill that up with sangria because that is a flask and you should put a good whiskey or a scotch or something in there, something that is slightly flammable. I'm not filling that with sangria.
Could you fill this with something flammable?
Absolutely. Timothy, and he will hand over the flask over to a servant, and he will go, the bottle at the top of my shelf in my study, please. You know the one I'm speaking of. Go ahead and fill it up, please. Would anyone else like a glass of sangria? Take the edge off?
Thank you, no.
Sure.
Okay, he will pour a large glass of sangria will appear before you. It looks like a red wine drink, but there's bits of fruit in it.
Yes, please. I might need it.
Same.
Sangria.
Can't imbibe these days. There've been a few changes.
I didn't see that.
So, you knew Mandrake before the
I did.
transformation.
I actually knew Mandrake well before this sort of change that he had upon him. I knew Mandrake when he was fleshy. And the hat was always there, a part of him. He's always had a bit of the stuffy father in the study look with the arms crossed. But the porcelain adds a bit of glow to him that I quite enjoy. And yes, it's a good look for you.
So you were not always.
Please tell me you would like a glass of sangria.
I actually do not partake.
You do not partake at all?
No.
Anyone else not partake at all?
Only in specific circumstances, I prefer to keep my mind sharp.
All right. Coffee, perhaps.
Coffee, perhaps a nice juice.
All right. Good to know.
To answer your question, no. I was once a man. Much like the original Hatter from the stories.
And what happened?
Yes, what did happen?
The thing that happens to most of my family. Sacrifice.
Wait, it's not a replica. Your grandson?
When he says that, a servant in the back holding a full tray of food will drop the tray on the ground.
Oh dear.
And Bob will cock his head to the side, and the servant will apologize. It's a young man that just sort of like apologizes and go to say something, and Bob will put a hand up and say, "Clean it up." bring out more. It's fine. And the young man will bow and run back inside the house to bring supplies out to clean up the mess.
No, it's not. It also has gone through a few changes, but it is the original.
So you're a demigod.
It doesn't work exactly like that, but for the sake of argument,
his ego
you
doesn't
aren't
need to
far
be
off.
Out of the mouth of babes, Zero. Yes, I've never thought of it in those terms, but our boy Mandrake is indeed a bit of a demigod.
Well, the flesh from before might have been.
Is it flesh that makes a man?
The spirit remains.
True, but I feel like demigod does apply to the flesh, as it's a product of flesh.
I am a testament to that.
Perhaps.
So let's enjoy dinner. And as he goes about the space, your plate is constantly filled, and I think I love the image of the smallest member of the party putting away the most food, not knowing when his next warm meal is going to come. There is more food put away by this small halfling than I think anyone's plate combined.
I would be looking to see if that boy who dropped everything came back.
He does come back.
Okay.
At a certain point, and he will, as he's filling glasses at one point, he will slip you a piece of paper.
Okay. Take it.
It is blank.
Okay.
It's Timothy, sir.
What is this, Timothy?
If you could sign it, just it's.
He's a fan. That's adorable.
I think Bob catches this, but instead it's like being very obvious about. So let's talk about anything else. Have you all ever seen a working hot springs?
Only not frequently. There are some back home, but they don't occur very often.
Did you know that there's one underneath this castle?
I imagine that cuts down on the heating bills in the winter.
It does, and it's also very relaxing. We're going to have to go after dinner. I insist, please.
There was this one time I was in L, and there was this hot spring, and it bubbled and hissed with all sorts of kind of noises at night, and it really kept that shut for a while. But that's another story. Anyway, but we would go bathing in there sometimes. We get dirty because the barman back the time he said we often get dirty after long shifts. But anyway, it was lovely.
In hell.
Oh yeah, I was in hell for a stint.
Would you like some more sangria?
If you could keep this thing full, I'll keep it empty. Yeah.
You got it. Yes. I will keep it full, you keep it empty. We'll see who wins.
I have a feeling we'll both be victors.
I have a feeling tonight's going to be a good night.
Why is that?
Drink.
Do you sign it?
Drink, folks, drink.
I laugh a little and say, I have a bad history with just giving away a name.
Oh.
However,
I'm sorry. No. I'm sorry.
No, I will take the hand, just my thumb. Is there any kind of gravy or sauce nearby?
Despite my best efforts, I'm sure I have some grease on me somewhere.
Yeah. I would say that there is a. I think there's a little bit of like grease or something along those lines. Like
I will draw. I'll put my thumb in it, and then I'll put 10-6.
I'm so sorry about that. It looks like certifiable scribe. It looks like you got timed out by accident by one of the mods.
I totally did this to Icky once.
Yes,
so we're even.
And everything deleted.
Yeah.
We don't know how.
It's okay. It's
She's
okay.
fixing it.
It's all right. No worries. Everything's fine. So you'll sign it.
I put 10-6 on it.
10-6.
I don't write
That's
my
perfect.
name.
He will take the paper and very carefully fold it up at his side.
You did not fix it.
Oh no! Please stop fixing it.
Here we go. I fixed it.
Okay.
Bye.
No, this is fixed.
That's true.
He takes the paper and puts it.
Timothy, where are you from?
I'm from a small village outside of Foch, sir.
And what's your interest with this?
My parents were chosen, but I was not.
Chosen.
To be members of the community, but Bob here found me in the streets of Fairleigh, begging for food, and gave me a place to stay. And I'm very grateful, and I had heard stories.
I'm not familiar with Foch and their traditions. I don't understand. You weren't chosen, but your parents were. What does that mean?
I was not. I was not deemed worthy to live in the community.
Of Foch?
Yes.
They just exile people?
No, it's not like that. And he keeps looking at Bob, and Bob is torn between sending him away and having him sit. Instead, he will snap a finger and have someone bring a chair up, and Timothy's world is changed. As the table now sits 8, and a chair is brought up to the table for Timothy. And he sort of sits down at the table and says, no, it is just, they are exclusive about who is there, and I was just not deemed worthy. I was not able to pass the test.
If anyone's looking at Trovik, he is studying his plate.
Trovik is obviously not a part of this conversation. He's doing everything he can to avoid eye contact.
I know the feeling.
It is fine. I have other talents elsewhere. I'm a very good songwriter. I've written several songs, and I've just, my talents have never been more towards arcana or understanding the intricacies found therein.
Well, home is where we are wanted.
Then I'm happy to have found a home here at the castle.
Enjoy that, I guess? And I'll just motion at the...
I will. Thank you. Again, I'm so sorry, Bob, and King, sorry, and Bob nods his head, because that's fine. Timothy, that's fine. Please send some of the attendants to the hot springs. Have them set up some towels and things of that sort so that we can go and enjoy ourselves for some post-dinner aperitifs.
What a wonderful idea. I have to go take my arm off. Trovik, come.
You do need a hand with that sort of thing. Please, excuse me.
Yes, of course. Thoe, you're doing this concerned. Either you have to poop or you have to say something. What is going on?
What specifically is the attire for the hot springs?
It's clothing optional, like most of my parties. You can wear as much or as little as you would like. But I'm not here to make you uncomfortable. Why don't we instate this? Because if your eyes dart anymore, I'm worried you're going to hurt your neck. Everyone, I will deliver some suits to your room. Some appropriate bathing attire so that you may wear such as you see fit.
These are the biggest striped onesie for me.
Absolutely, it's the striped onesie. But it is the strong man's striped onesie.
Yes.
It goes up, like,
yes.
But everyone else has briefs. You have a bathing gown, almost like a white.
Okay, thank you.
Unless, do you have any requests?
No, it's fine. It's fine, thank you very much. I'm not used to... There's a lot of green. Now, I mean, I was green before, but I was furry, and then I was not green, and now I'm... I'm fine.
It's a shame
thank
we're not
you.
here for that.
Yeah. Did you get that from him?
Get what?
The green. You still haven't talked about how this whole thing came about.
Some from him.
All right. Is it a sore subject?
A little.
Do we hate him now? Because I can hate him. Just tell me how I'm supposed to feel about this whole situation.
You don't have to hate him.
All right.
I'm not sure how I feel right now. I have a lot of mixed up things. So the last thing I'm going to do is tell you how to feel.
That's fair. A nice swim. A nice soak. Yes. Let us go. There is more food, more dessert to be had. Mandrake, do you know if you are you buoyant?
I have roughly the same mass as I had before.
Lovely. Good to know. And everything works?
There were a few parts I didn't bother to draw on the diagram.
So just tell me when to start.
You can.
Oh my god! Oh my god! This.
Bob,
tell me when to.
Bob,
oh my god! I'm still going. Tell me when to. It's the.
All I'm
Mandrake.
wearing is a coat that's open.
Oh, that's. To the pools.
I will excuse myself and say I'm going to help Alo and Trovik.
Sure. Alo and Trovik have a bit of a head start on you.
Right.
As they are making their way quickly back up towards the castle. I think everyone else is going to join for hot springs, frivolity, and things of that sort. Bob will put an arm around Fix if he is able to. It's an awkward arm as a hand on the and put him.
Fix is naked.
He's gonna be naked for that. That's perfect.
Yeah,
He's gonna put an arm around Zero and
he's with me.
say, Zero, I do actually have a library. If you're looking for information, would you like a book on the gods sent up to your room?
Yeah, that'd be great.
I will have it delivered at once after our swim. Little nighttime reading. How do we feel about sangria?
If she was my best friend, then I would also name her. That'd be a great name. But I like it a lot.
Wait till I introduce you to a new drink I'm working on. I call this one a Bahama Mama, and he will start leading everyone down to the pools. Alo, Trovik, you have broken away from the group and started a conversation.
Are you alright?
Just knowing that it's not a commonplace thing outside of Fosh. Having my eyes open to that kind of thing is a bit. I didn't realize they separated families, Solo. I was brought in, my parents were brought in. We're all mechanically inclined. We understand crafting. Your family, very much the same.
Not at all.
I don't.
Let's decide, how do we feel about this group? They are strange.
They are certainly, some of them exuberant, others a bit more reserved. It's an interesting mix, I will say that.
Is he everything that you hope for?
The mechanics are beyond me, at least for now.
Mandrake, as you were the first one to break away from the table, you see Alo and Trovik making their way up, and they're in a bit of a quiet conversation as you make your way up to them. Are you trying to be stealthy here?
No.
You would hear the footsteps of a party member trying to catch up.
Oh, hello, Mandrake.
Trovik.
Not going to be joining them for the swim?
No, I'll head down eventually. I noticed that you got very quiet during the conversation about Fosh.
It is my home.
So, were you exiled, or was he?
Oh, neither one, in truth. And I showed the inside of my bracer, which has my clan crafting symbol on it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a jagged black line flanked and then crossed by a pair of green horns.
Same deal. Roll a d20. 16 or above.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Yep. I left to find if there were any other interesting machinations. Any other sources of interesting arcane oddity that I might be able to study, bring back home, and see if I could shake things up.
Okay.
Olo left about. Well, that's not really my place to talk about. So Olo, let's get you out of the armor and into the swimming suit and all of that.
Indeed. So you both left by choice.
Yes, I can go back at any time. In fact,
need to know, as the two of them walk into a room and he starts helping him get undressed, you walk with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Don't have parts anymore. Okay.
I was staying with 12 parents for a little while before mine adopted me. So.
Okay. It's just the most information we've gotten about Vosh.
It's a.
Have you asked?
It's a fairly close sort of thing.
I have tried. Fix and Zero are a little hard to get around.
Oh, so hard.
To put it mildly, yes.
Somebody clip that, please.
We did, buddy.
The high five that reverberated around the warble.
So, tell me about Vosh. And I'll help. And I'll start helping with the armor.
As
I want it understood, the society is not secret.
Yeah.
But we have talked about how they are
selective.
Okay.
Yeah. Most everyone there is fairly technically minded, either have a bent toward the arcane or the mechanical.
I'm just standing there like this as they work. I'm just like, well, I am very small and there's not a lot to work. Okay.
My family is primarily blacksmiths, the odd enchanter. We focus on improving designs, that sort of thing.
Is the door? No, the door.
No,
still
the door.
open. As you walk in to get your suit, you walk by the room and you see Alo standing there with Mandrake just like sort of looking over at him and nodding his head, and Trovic is doing his armor, and I think there's just a moment where you walk by the room and you see this scene.
Well, he said he was going to help take the armor off.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see the two of them working on Alo's armor.
When was the last time you properly maintained this? This latch is stuck.
Seems to be a very involved process.
Hang on. Got it.
Do you need help?
I think I have all the help that I could.
Thor, do you go in the room?
Okay.
I mean, I know some cleaning spells if you need it cleaned. I mean, I can help.
It's too good. Zoe goes in the room and starts like cleaning the armor as the two of them help you get undressed. So now there are three individuals helping the shortest halfling get undressed and get de-armored off. And as each armor piece comes off, though, he's just kind of cleaning it with.
Actually, yeah. Well, I was thinking something that I don't have, but that's okay. Oh no, I can prestidigitation. I'm good. Yeah, I can help.
It's too good of an image not
Yeah.
to do.
They were telling me a bit about Foch.
Oh, where they're from, both of them.
Correct.
Got it.
Perhaps you could help me in the lab sometime.
I'd be delighted. Alchemy is not quite my bend, but I might be able to provide some sort of insight.
Perhaps you could advance some of the equipment.
Oh, yes, I would like that very much.
Thank you.
At this time, Bob walks by with two people under his arm just to hear him go, maybe you could help advance some of my equipment. And Trovic going, I would like that very much. And you just hear Bob say, I knew it! and keep walking. After a bit of time...
That should be the last of it. You can handle the greaves on your own.
The armor is removed. Bathing suits are given to each and every one of you. You can modify them as you see fit. I would say Mandrake doesn't need one. What is Alo wearing in terms of...
I mean, what was delivered?
It was just trunks, comfortable trunks,
We're going to cut him real short.
Cut them real short. It's like Reno 911, like
Yeah.
Officer Dangle. Like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, like they're tight. Like these are like mullet shorts. Like they're you came to party. Like, yeah, okay.
If I could get them to say juicy on the back, I would.
Juicy. Absolutely.
Minor magics can do that, man.
Zoe, what's your bathing suit look like?
I'm probably normally if I were to swim, I would, because she's got a
She's got the
chemise
wings and
underneath
stuff like
or
that,
whatever.
yeah.
So she'll probably just wear that.
Yeah.
Because that's what
The
she
slip
probably,
or
yeah,
something
the
like that,
the long
Okay.
kind of.
You're going all
Sure
natural
thing.
in the pool.
There's no other way to go
No,
swimming.
there's no other way to go. Trovic?
The old timey.
Old timey. Hello.
Yes.
Like,
yes. Exactly.
And Zero.
Just swim trunks.
Just swim trunks. Perfect. Yeah, I think everyone is led to the hot springs underneath. You've actually seen a picture of this if you saw the advertisement for tonight's episode, to which Mandrake Eric messages me with a picture of the background, a giant circle on it. Goes, of course, Bob would have a fountain in his home that had a phallic shape on it, and I was like, "What are you?" Oh my God! I didn't even notice. But if you look at the fountain, right in the center of the fountain is this really phallic shape, and Meredith, I don't know how we missed that. I think Dash is indeed in a tiny, tiny swimsuit.
He's got to be presentable.
The hot springs are adorable. They are. You can see the stone area that is. The lighting is low and dim in this area, and you see a small bar that's actually carved into the stone in the area. And Bob is there. Bob is wearing the equivalent of a Speedo. If Alo's trunks are small and tight, like Bob's are just tight. And he's got a robe on over it though, and he's making drinks behind the bar. Both, all the words are fine. And the water is amazing. As all of you begin to make your way over towards the water, I don't know if we have some toe dippers, if we have people that just jump in. It's deep enough to do as you see fit, but your flask is also returned to you with an odd green liquid inside of it.
He gave him absinthe.
He doesn't know until he tries.
Fair.
I do have my necklace on still, though.
You do?
Yeah.
Yes. Necklace on and any other accoutrement. I think Humphrey is close by.
Yeah.
But not in the water.
No.
But there are small chairs set up, and Bob continues to make drinks for all those that would have some. Who are you having a drink, Zoe?
Yeah, she's having a drink and she is getting in the water as quickly as possible up to her neck.
Zoe, it's extremely comfortable. It's warm. It's actually salt. Or like a saltwater.
I want to go to there.
In here. And it's amazing. It feels amazing on your skin. If you were down any hit points, those are replenished. If you were down any spell slots, those are also replenished from being in the hot springs.
I want to know about this wild magic that. Did you see in the chat?
I did.
You did. Okay.
Are you having a sip of your flask, buddy, before you get in the water? Just to give it a little taste.
I probably should, because I'm too interested to know this.
Yeah, as you take a little sip of the green fairy, you have a sip and you feel the liquid burns, and it's got a peppermint sort of like aftertaste to it. That starts, so it's almost like a whiskey, but like as it goes down your throat, it's got this cooling effect. Nice. And as it does, a little bit of the magic inherent in that liquor kicks off. I need you to go ahead and roll me a D100, my dude.
Can I roll 5 D20s?
Here,
is that
you
the
can
same
just
thing?
roll percentile dice. So you can roll those 2 D10s.
I have percentile.
Yeah. I'm gonna have you do that, and then.
How do I roll percentile dice?
Roll one of those
Small
and
bet?
then a D10.
This is good. This
So
is
you hold them in a height and then you drop
And a D10?
Yeah.
27. I did it. Or 207. We all did it.
Okay.
Don't you laugh at me.
You feel magically augmented
Oh no.
for a little bit of time. You don't know what it is, but you just feel like you feel potent, man. There's no other way to describe it.
Oh my goodness.
As you just feel like you feel kind of jazzed up, man. Like you got a little bit more oomph in you, a little more pep in your step.
Oh god. Shh.
All right. So
Mind the water?
take of that what you will. Yeah, I'll say you're in the water.
Then if that's the case, he's probably just like filling out the space, like probably making himself feel bigger than what
Dude,
he really is.
Vix, you feel good, man. You feel good. You're just kind of like got a little bit of, and Bob is making drinks and pouring them out and pouring them for people, and
He's gonna go to the bar to get more drinks from Bob, because right now is an opportunity for all of us, and the opportunity is that we're all going to take one drink, alcohol or not, juice maybe, as people in this group.
Bob nods his head and sets up glasses for all of you. Before he gets a glass for himself, an individual enters into the small clearing. It's an elven woman who you two recognize immediately as a woman that worked at the Felgren's Funhouse.
Okay.
She worked security there. She has 2 swords attached to her, and as she goes over to where Bob is, who's paying particular attention to what this woman says to him? Who's a
I
little
would,
on
because I
edge?
recognize
Yeah,
her.
if I recognized her, I'd be listening.
I'm relaxing. I'd be
Yeah.
watching Bob.
Okay. Bob is smiling and just sort of in the moment, and then you just hear her say the words, "We found her." As she goes, "We found her," Bob smile falters, and then immediately plasters back on. And he goes, "Duty calls. The kingdom never sleeps, and neither do I, thank goodness. So I have a bit of royal business to take care of. However, you are free to drink and use the spaces you see fit. I shall endeavor to return to you very shortly, but I just have a pressing matter that only I can take care of. So he bows his head as Callie helps him out of the pool, and he begins to walk with her through the entrance. As she does, she whispers a few more words to him that you catch just out of reach. She's killed more feral. I think that's all you catch. She's killed more and feral. As Callie looks back at the group, nods her head, and exits behind Bob, as Bob's features are immediately transforming from the human shape back to the gray-eyed, gray-haired, sort of grayish skin changeling that he was once before. But the space is yours. There are 6 glasses set up with liquid and not too far away.
I would have heard all those words.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, so I would lean into Zoe and say, the only time that I've seen Bob stop smiling was that time we put clothes on Inwin.
That's the only time you could think of all the times you.
It's the only time it happened.
Okay. So we ask him when he gets back. I mean, if he needed our help, he would ask for our help. He knows what we can do.
Does he? He knows what you and I can do. He just met them.
Well, then he would talk to us.
Okay.
So we let him find out what's going on, and then we ask, and then perhaps we can help. Right now, I intend to have about 7 more of those drinks.
So you'll be very helpful when he comes back.
Somebody here has got to have some sort of lesser restoration on him.
I'm sure Trovic has something.
Not even a little bit.
Fix, I think you have free reign. What are you pouring in these glasses?
So,
oh dear.
I'm just grabbing things from whatever's behind the bar.
You're just grabbing rando bottles?
Yeah, but if I know this is making me feel good, I probably want to be like, yes, like, to all, like, just...
Do you pour shots of your flask inside the glass?
I'm gonna give, like, just little, like, drops of each one.
Great. Yeah, you guys are having a conversation, the 2 of you are
And we
swimming.
didn't see any
like,
effects
you didn't-
on him.
You
Can I
not
change
see
this
the
really quick?
effects.
Can I change this real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Like I'm about to like mix
Oh,
a
gosh.
cocktail.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna do like 1 shot of like the green fairy drink that I have in there, and
Yeah.
then just like a couple of random other bottles and just shake it up and like pour
Oh,
like
no.
I'm doing like
Great.
cocktails.
Love it.
Thank
Yep.
goodness you don't.
So he's gonna start getting. So all you're gonna see is like this little hand like this like behind the bar start shaking.
I just need you guys to know that this is your fault, and this is your fault.
That's fine.
Who all is having a drink?
Me.
Is
Yep,
there alcohol in
1,
this fix?
2,
Okay, I want to say real fast, for those who drink, there's alcohol in, and I did promise you there was juice.
I would prefer juice without alcohol, thank you.
There is juice with the alcohol, but we're off to make my good friend Olo drink something that he'll say, "Oh no." Do it, boys. Do it, boys.
Fix is trying to, for a celebratory toast, have you drink
And
alcohol.
he is like this, and it is just.
Provik, do you have a celebratory, the group is coming together toast?
Pure pressure.
I will walk behind the bar, find just a bottle of juice, pour myself some juice.
Sure.
Oh no.
Just-
Oh no.
Wait, check it. No smell no alcohol in it.
Give me an investigation check.
Cool. I'm good at those. That is a 21.
Yeah, it smells like juice.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got to lose, little guy? It's gonna be great.
Fine.
Yes.
I'm gonna wait until he takes his shot and like over the shoulder.
Give me a sleight of hand at advantage as he is a
Perception?
little- No, you're not paying attention to
You're
this, man.
hammered already.
You're
19.
19. Yeah.
Plus
He's gonna be like,
8%.
oh man, this is gonna be so good. I need everybody that's having a drink, including you again, since you're having another one, to go ahead and roll your D100. But what is the toast that Fix gives? Go ahead and roll a D100 as well. As you take your drink and throw it behind you, just in case it's in an effect that you pull a cronk. I imagine like this is him throwing it in the
Plant.
48.
The potted plant. 48.
Yep.
Oh no. Oh no.
Plant turns into a sheep.
Great.
Hey, 48.
Great.
Oh
Yep.
no. Oh no.
No, you're good.
Cool.
You had juice. You high investigation.
64.
Yeah. Great.
54. Oh no. Oh, no.
Okay. So what is the toast? What is the toast that you give?
So, alright guys, and I'm gonna say this because this is something that Dash and I will say back when they were little. So, everyone raise your glasses.
And then he's gonna start like doing that whole like squirrel speak where he's just like
Squeak, squeaker, squeaky, squeak, squeaking.
and then he's just gonna shoot it back.
Okay.
You have the most interesting friends.
Sure.
I need you to roll 5d6 for me, please. As Alo,
At least
several
not
things
4.
happen in this clearing at the same time. Alo takes his cup and he goes, and throws it behind him, and there's a brief pause, and then as a unicorn manifests itself
Like just look behind all of
behind Alo, and sort of looks down at him.
I'm so glad I rolled the same thing.
As you down your shot and jump in the water, another unicorn bobs its head up in the water as well, just swimming next to you.
I have several questions.
What did you get, bud?
64.
Yep. As soon as he takes his shot, this area gets a little funky, gang, as the entire area is surrounded by a fog cloud, which seems to emanate from Fix. What did you get on your 5d6?
13.
13 total on your 5d6.
Yeah.
Immediately, when you take the shot, you're like, I got one goal tonight, and that is to get drunk and forget about all the stuff that has happened. You are immediately sober. It's like the alcohol has no effect on you. With any alcohol that you've been drinking all that night, the entire rest of the night, like you are just, it doesn't matter how much you
drink a potion of sobriety.
For the next 13 days,
Oh,
alcohol, the one person that was just like, I'm gonna get night. The next 13 days, does not matter how much though he drinks, that is water.
All the drinking
water.
contests, though. All the drinking
Yes.
contests.
Oh my god.
Do I know any alchemical uses for anything related to a unicorn?
You know that their horns have alchemical uses.
Mr. Nene?
Yeah, this unicorn is all up on you, Zero. Like he's just like he's your bud, he's your best pal. He's swimming in the water a little bit, and then like just it looks like he's built for the water. Like I'm going to go one step further. I'm going to say this is a seahorse unicorn. Because it manifested in the water, like this thing is just like a seahorse, but it's got a horn on it. You got
I'm
like
definitely
like,
riding the seahorse unicorn.
Oh yeah, I think it's like, come on, bud, let's go, and like just the most tripped out drug sequence
And
ever.
for the
Zero
briefest moment,
starts
you went cavalier.
going around. Yours is a full-fledged unicorn, still on the area, and it's just. But I think it's aloe sized.
Oh, good.
I think it's appropriate. Like I think it's
the size of Humphrey.
Yeah, it's the size of Humphrey. You've just got this little tiny unicorn. That's
You've got a Shetland
in
unicorn.
in this area, and it's little Sebastian the unicorn. You know what I mean?
Am I emanating smoke?
Yeah, it's for a brief amount of time, and that
like
smoke
coming out of your
dissipates.
pores, you're sweating
And as
fog.
everybody's, you kind of turn this room into a sauna for a little bit. Everybody's breathing gets a lot better. Like
They said this would happen if you ate brimstone.
Did you eat brimstone?
Wait, who says that?
When I was an elf, if you eat the brimstone, you get gassy.
Not dealing with this anymore. Jump in the water.
Yeah. You guys spend about an hour swimming, talking, drinking.
Try several more drinks until I realize that nothing's working.
Nothing.
So what are you trying to forget? You're drinking an awful lot for nothing.
Just trying to have fun.
Dash makes that face sometimes too, but usually when he's hungry.
Are we hearing this conversation?
I'm not hungry.
I don't think it's quiet. I think everybody's in a small space, so like you're hearing. Zero's a little distracted. He's on a seahorse. He's on a seahorse. Yeah. Like, he's on a scenicorn. So
It's a
he's-
scenicorn.
So yeah, you hear this?
Do we need to inside check that?
Probably not.
Okay.
She's
just check. I also
actually.
have a passive 18, so.
Oh, actually, she's really good at deception now. I
Roll
keep
deception
forgetting
if
that.
you'd like to insight check that.
She'd probably win because she's super.
20.
20. Yeah, I passed that. That was a 23.
Okay.
Then I will say.
She's keeping things pretty close to the chest.
Zoe, you're going to need to talk about it with him at some point.
With who?
Our new friends.
Oh, with them? Well, he seems to be very eager to talk about it, and I don't really know him super well yet.
Right, something we should possibly get to the bottom of.
No, we're working on that. And then the rest of them aren't too eager, and I don't really see the point because I'm moving forward.
But you're standing still.
For once, Fix said something
How
useful.
how close is Fix to the pool?
Fix is pretty close to the pool.
Grand yeet.
It is the greatest game. It is the hot spring yeet.
Yeah. Let me see how many times I can skip a halfling.
Tackling all
Auto hides.
You can try.
You're telling a drunk Fix he can try to tackle you.
Zero. How many drinks do you have, man? Do you stop at any point, or do you get messed up tonight? You get a little buzzed.
He doesn't go that far.
He doesn't go
'cause
hard.
That's a bad
he just gets a
idea.
comfortable buzz going. I think Fix is going hard.
He's turning
Fix,
it up.
Fix was halfway gone when he came down
He
here.
is. So
been halfway
Fix
gone the whole time.
Fix
Yeah, wrong.
is gone. You don't know when it happened, but Fix just tipped over the tipping point. Fix, I'm actually going to have you do something special for me, buddy. It's the first time. I'm going to have you roll on a carousing table. At some point in the night, you
Wandered off from us.
you drank so much that you're not going to really remember what happened over the night, and you're going to wake up in a strange situation.
That makes
So
sense.
give me another D100, please, and this will just be figuring out a way. As Fix is swimming in the water, he's like, I think I'm gonna go get and just sort of like falls asleep against the cave wall.
I was gonna say, flipping face up so he's not face down in the water.
That's an 80. Well, I thought that was garbage. There we go. That's an 80. Or 800.
It's 80.
No.
I was right
it's
the first time.
Perfect.
You're all 10 to 0.
Perfect. Yep. Great. Fix passes out, and Dash goes to sleep on his shoulder. After couple of hours. It's getting late in the evening. Bob will come and finally join everyone. The first thing he'll see is they passed the figs.
I've moved him
That's
into
the
a
first
chair.
But as
Nico
the
passed
second
out.
thing will be the Seamicorn and the little Sebastian unicorn. Be like, well, those are new. Hi. Somebody got into my private stash, yes?
I don't imagine doing
He's
any
just
of
you're
this.
unconscious.
One of the unconscious Fix.
Yeah, like
He's
all right.
Fix and Dash are propped up on a chair.
Well, I'm so sorry that I had grandiose plans of starting a bacchanal with all of you, but I'm deeply sorry that I was pulled away on official court business.
Do you need help with something?
No.
Are you sure?
No, he's Bob.
No, I'm not. But you have enough to deal with and enough on your plate that I'm not going to drag you into the inner workings of the king, because heavy is the head that wears the crown, and I have a big head. So no, your services are not requested at this time. You have enough. You have
Let
enough.
us know.
I will. I fear you will be drawn into this faster than I can stop it. So, it's late. You all have your rooms. I am not feeling well. So I'm going to retire, but I did want to come down and say thank you all so much. And I look forward to breakfast in the morrow, where we can share stories and things of that sort, and I can send you on your way with style. Where are you headed after this?
Probably to Overland.
You're headed to Overland.
Or
Well, it depends on what the tracker says.
Yes, I do still have him trussed up.
Oh, the truck. Yes. I'd totally forgotten. I will get him, and let's see. I've honestly been feeding and giving him as much drink as he wanted too. So perhaps a quick sobering up, and then in the morning I will have you all reconvene as you see fit. But it was lovely seeing you.
same.
And you.
And you?
You are welcome here at any time. As are you. You two, I don't know why. I don't know whether I want to slap you or protect you. This one's passed out, but Zero, the book has been delivered to your room.
Thank you.
Of course. Just so everyone knows, if you need anything, my room is the biggest one. Have a good night. And he
And to you as well.
He nods his head, and as he walks away, he leaves spots of red on the floor. As he has he is wearing the robe and manages to sort of keep it hidden, but as he walks, you cannot help but see the spots of red that go down from his legs and feet and pool as he walks out of the space. But gives a curt sort of nod to each of you and makes his way out of the chamber.
I'm going to use sorcery points to subtly cast message at him as he walks out then.
Okay.
And oh gosh, I can't. Never mind, I can't heal anymore.
You can't.
Wait.
But you could still send a message.
Still talk.
Okay, yeah.
You can't,
Surrounded
but you
by
have a
people
couple
who
of people who can.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna say you're hurt. Let us help.
I have healers for that.
You shouldn't be getting hurt in your own castle.
Me being hurt is one less citizen of my lands being hurt.
Is message one of the ones where we don't hear?
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah, you can't hear.
You just see Thoe kind of staring after him, and Bob standing in the doorway with a hand up on the doorway.
Yeah,
And I did subtle spell so that it couldn't be seen.
Are you casting it again to respond
Yeah, I
back
had
again?
to use
Yeah.
the both sorcery
Yeah.
points both times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bob turns back to look at you, and he gives a small smile. And it's a different Bob than what you. I mean, it's almost selfless. This particular Bob. He may have wished for a kingdom, but it must have been that within his heart to be the workings of a king. So because he sort of nods at you. With that, Callie is going to step into the space. She's not going to say anything, but as Bob leaves the chamber, Callie is going to step into the space and just stand up against the wall.
Is she looking?
Callie's not hurt in any way. She doesn't look injured in any way, but she's standing up against the wall, leaning up against it. As Bob leaves the space, Callie comes into the clearing. She's not looking at anyone. She's not studying them, but she's just leaning back up against the wall with her swords at her side, but her arms crossed in front of her.
I mean, technically all the rooms are his since he's the king.
You do have a fair point. However, I'm going to make use of the one he's letting me borrow. Good night, all.
Trovik retires for the evening and finding himself. You spent some time in the hot springs. You also have a D8 of inspiration that will last for the next 24 hours.
Nice.
So anyone that was enjoying the hot springs.
Oh boy, more D8s.
You got another one.
Another one.
Yeah. So Trovik retires.
Just going into my room, studying a couple of the new schematics I thought of.
Sure. Callie gives you a small nod as you walk past.
I'll go to my room and browse through that book.
Yeah. You find a book that's got a list of all the gods in it, and it's not a children's book, but it does look sort of broken down like. C is for Cheshire, like it's got the some of the gods and deities. There are lists of gods in here that you have never heard of, gods that span the multiverse, and in terms of planes. And you're not sure how he got this book, but this book has quite a few different gods and planes. As you turn to Enwyn, you see a full, detailed story of the storyteller, of the one who represents change and storytelling, and it's odd to see a god that celebrates the laws of perspective, but you understand why those that are low in life might be drawn to that, and those that are in high station may want to maintain what they have. It's almost as if Enwyn has carved out this niche of like, you're not down and out, you're in transition. Like it's how you read the story. It's how you find your way in this world. There's a few parables that follow each one about Alice being terrorized by the Queen of Hearts, and Enwyn whispering in her ear, is that a queen or is that a mean old woman who's afraid of you? And cutting through a bit of the fear that Alice experienced with the Queen.
Does any of this make sense to me, and why I wouldn't know him, though?
Not at all.
Great.
It seems commonplace. It seems absolutely like, why did this get...
I might look at the White Knight one to see if there's anything that jumps out at me there.
You would know all the information.
So
it's
all there.
It's all there.
So
It's all prevalent. It all talks about the White Knight and things of that sort. But you would know all the information that would be found in this book.
I'll just take note of the other gods, the ones not from here.
Sure.
And
There's a lot
Yeah.
that you take time to just sort of read through, and
Yeah.
I think you fall asleep reading through. The next Arcana or the next History or Religion check you make it at advantage. Please keep track of that. I'm not going to. Anybody carrying Fix to bed?
Oh.
No, that's perfect. That fits his carousing. That fits his carousing table. Fix has an adventure planned for him later that evening.
You want to go?
No, go ahead.
I would walk over to Callie and...
Tin Man?
Callie? Are you sure he doesn't need my help?
Who?
Your king.
Did you ask him?
I didn't.
No, you did not.
Then I'll go ask him now.
Why don't you?
I'll head to his room.
Okay. She sort of.
I'm gonna follow Mandrake.
Okay. You go to follow Mandrake, and a sword comes out and stops in front of you. She goes, "A word."
Okay.
And she looks at you as if to say, "You can keep going."
I will be fine. Tell him I will find him later.
When he finds out you kept this one from coming to his room, he's going to be upset.
I just mean to have a word with him. He'll understand.
So does he. And I'll head out.
Thoe, a moment. With him?
Yes. Oh, okay.
Leave the space, Thoe.
I'm worried about him.
You should be. Leave the space.
I go to my room.
Do you know my greatest asset?
I have a feeling you're going to tell me.
I listen.
Okay.
The people in this group talk.
Very much.
Incessantly. The little one with the rodent talks a lot. Your friend revealed that he was from Fosh in the conversation with you. I don't say much because I hate saying much. You know who else doesn't say much is you. You give little yeses and nos and little uhs and but you don't talk much. And that makes me nervous. Because that man upstairs is an ass. And he's boisterous and he's loud. But he's mine. I don't make many friends. He's one of them.
Oh, so he's the two of you are.
No.
Okay.
But he's mine. He is my chosen family.
Okay.
Do you understand?
Unfortunately, I do not.
I see death in your eyes.
That is unfortunate.
And I don't like it.
Okay.
Who are you?
You can call me up.
What are you?
Hopefully the man who's going to fuck your king later. If I'm lucky. Apparently he's the greatest lover.
That's fine. As long as you don't kill him.
God, no. It would be very uncomfortable, I believe, to kill him and then...
You wore your armor to dinner tonight.
Is this comfortable?
It's not that comfortable.
It is more comfortable than clothing I'm not used to.
That I understand. She'll take the sword, and the sword ignites a tiny bit. And then she places it back in the scabbard. She goes, "Have fun."
I hope to.
And she will put it away, and as she does, she will leave the space and sort of follow you all as you make your way up the stairs to your various rooms and appointments. Mandrake, where are you going?
I'm going to find Bob's room.
Yeah. You find the largest room. All roads lead to Rome. All bedrooms lead to Bob. Bob has a very large, bedroom upstairs. That as you knock softly on the door,
It's just the third floor.
The entire third floor.
you hear a grunt, a groan from inside, and Bob will come over, and he's holding his side a little bit, and he goes, "Mandrake, I knew it. I knew you were lying. All right, now be honest this time. Be honest." Oh my God, I'm still going. I'm still...
Even when injured.
Especially when injured.
Can we help? You gave us a home. You taught us to speak to each other.
How about this? In the morning, I've done all the talking I can for this evening. I've shed as much blood and as much sadness as I'm going to shed this evening. So for tonight, should you step foot into these doors, know that this will be a place of wanton distraction.
Do you really have healers coming?
Yes.
Healers you trust?
I have healers coming.
You also have a couple wishes left.
I have one wish left.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So what was the second wish used on?
It's stupid.
Nothing stupid if you want it enough.
I wished for a purple-skinned girl to find her parents. It was stupid in the grand scheme of things, but I think it makes me the king I am today. So one wish left. I better make it a good one.
I would agree.
You could wish for Mandrake too.
And
he thinks about it.
That wish was stupid for everyone but her.
Yes, that we can agree upon.
If you need anything, please ask.
Anything?
I don't have that.
I have artificers.
If I'm not mistaken, you have no trouble finding that when you want it.
But there's always time for tea.
There is always time for tea.
Is that what they're calling it now?
Mandrake, I'll see you in the morning.
I hope you do.
Yep. And he will close the door. Thoe, where are you headed this evening?
I'm headed to my room.
Yep. You go and rest for the evening. I think as he closes this door and lays back on the bed, the timing is perfect. Just, finally, I can. Yes.
Opens the door, looks down.
Yes.
So they say you are the best lover in the land. Care to let me find out?
On one condition.
Which is?
Go get the armor.
I will be right back.
I think that's where we're going to end tonight's episode.
That checks out.
I just like the last scene is him knocking on Joke's door. Tomek!
Trovic, wake up! Boom! I need your help. Put it back on. Not again, Bob. Yes, Bob. Hurry. Hurry, wake up. Thank you so much for tuning into tonight's episode of Wonder. We've got a couple of questions about what exactly Bob was dealing with for next week's episode. We also have a episode of The Lost Isle coming up on Thursday, where we get to dive into that. I think we've learned a little bit more about the characters and their interactions with one another. We're gonna end tonight's episode with a post-credit scene as we get ready to raid. The next morning, as you all wake up, the first person to wake up is Fix. Fix is woken up to a commotion as you hear voices. I don't understand what happened. Will no one tell him until we can figure it out? Yes, but in every single one of the paintings? Yes, every single one. I don't know what it is. It's two small circles on all of the paintings. And you just hear these people. This one, look, there's red on this one, and this one has two yellow circles on it. And as you're listening to this conversation, you suddenly feel how cold it is on your backside. As you reach behind you, touch your bare bottom and pull back to a handful of blue paint. And your eyes go wide.
You absolute mad halfling.
Indigo connects. Hey, do you wonder? Well, you'll find out next week. We're going to go raid a channel. Stay tuned as we go raid a channel right now. Thank you guys so much. Earn those stream points. Get to godhood. Get your potions. Get those wild magic surges as we go raid Praetor's Rejects. We love you guys so much. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight, and we'll see you soon. And we're going to go raid. And